How's it going, friends? Today I have brought with me from the depths of Cleveland, Ohio, my lovely girlfriend, Sara.
Very far to the east of Cleveland.
Deep in the depths of the Ohio-Cleveland River. So Sara, how long have we been dating?
3 years and a month.
3 years and a month.
Literally.
And how would you rate your stay at the Timothy Bates Motel?
It's been okay.
It's been okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things that you and I have really bonded over since we've started dating is...
pro wrestling.
I was going to say tacos, but that also works.
Tacos.
So tell me how you got started with watching pro wrestling.
My sister and her husband
Hi, Amanda
watch.
and Pete.
Hey. They watch, and then I think when I was younger, I watched a little bit, but it's like vague memories of me probably not being allowed to watch it, but then sneaking in and watching it during the summer with my cousins anyways. But then I really got into it when he came into my life, and he was a big fan of it, and he showed it to me. And I think one of the very first WWE pay-per-views we watched was the one where Seth and Dean got back together.
SummerSlam.
Because I remember watching the moment when it's like, he held out his fist and then Dean went, okay.
Now that was on Raw, but then they won the titles together at SummerSlam.
Yeah. Okay, so I didn't watch that with you. I watched the fist bump with my sister and Pete.
Yes.
Don't remember why.
I don't know. I think part of it's because, so I was only watching wrestling a couple months before we started dating. My previous relationship was going to crap, and I was like, hey, why not pick up a new hobby?
Great.
So then I started watching. I remember it was one of the first conversations we had. I was watching WrestleMania 33 alone because I had no wrestling friends. And I was talking to you about it, and you were like, oh, that's cool. I remember watching it eventually. What's the first match that you remember being like, oh my gosh, that's awesome? Was it the Dean Seth tag team match against Sheamus and Cesaro?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it was that moment because I was just like, oh, this actually has because to me, I'm really a story driven person. So I like when there's stories and emotions behind things. So that match had so much with it, so I thought it dragged me in that sense, and I was like, oh, this is actually entertaining.
Yeah.
It's not just people beating the shit out of each other, which that is entertaining. But this was extra entertaining.
So kind of jumping off of that, what was the biggest reason for you falling in love with pro wrestling? And when was the point that you said to yourself, man, I don't just like this and find it entertaining, but I absolutely love this?
I think it was probably when I realized that I really got into watching Being the Elite on YouTube. That I was actually actively looking for wrestling stuff outside of watching it on mainstream television. Mm-hmm. Watching it with BT and the Young Bucks, and I really think the Young Bucks really made me fall in love with pro wrestling. Mm-hmm. Because they were funny, serious, they had action-packed, killing people. They just had everything in their stories, and they didn't really hold back either. They weren't scared of storylines. They just went with something, and if it didn't work, it didn't really matter because they were having fun and they were doing it for fun. And I that came across, and I just really enjoyed watching it and falling in love with it. And then I think some wrestlers that drew me in terms of wrestling style, Kenny Omega. Amazing wrestler. Love his style. And the way he's able to tell stories. Kota Ibushi. Love watching his matches.
You're in love with Kota Ibushi.
He is a gorgeous human being. Will Ospreay. I love following his story completely and just watching how he's grown.
He's probably in your top 3 favorite wrestlers, right?
Oh, definitely. This one might be controversial, but I love Seth Rollins. I will probably always love
because Seth was one of the first wrestlers that you fell in love with, and you're never gonna forget your first.
No, plus Plus, he can wrestle, and he is really good at the storyline, which is very evident with the fact that he stood at the edge of the ring on Monday night, staring at absolutely nothing, having no reaction. I don't know how many people realize how much skill that takes to not react. Like, you're not reacting at all, standing there blank face, just staring. You can't wince, you can't smirk. You just have to not react until the moment when you're supposed to react. And that takes so much skill. It's like nearly impossible for a lot of people to do it. And then the fact that he kind of did it kind of live, I guess you could say.
It was basically
live.
live.
It was basically live. So like that's another skill in itself that not a lot of people have. So like I'm gonna love him forever. And then
Sammy Guevara.
Most recently, Sammy Guevara, but he wasn't a part of the original story.
Yeah, that's true.
He was a recent development.
Yes.
And also Chelsea Green's a recent development, because I love my girl Chelsea. So
when it comes to finding what you like in pro wrestling, what to you makes a great wrestling match?
I'm not picky in terms of what I think is a great wrestling match, but I probably am on the pickier side, what people would say. I love watching I'll watch a match if it's a good match. Like, it's got great wrestling, it's got great spots, there's a lot of action to it, a lot of just everything that you can take in a wrestling match. What makes it really great for me is when there's extra little storylines that the wrestlers make sure to point out. Not the commentary, not the fans, but what the wrestlers do that can bring it out. And it's just, like, really interesting. Like, I love when heels, and you know they're heel, and they're that type of person, and they just pick the person up right before the 3 count. I absolutely love that. If that's in any match, I don't necessarily think it's a great match just because it has that in there. I just really love those spots.
Especially in squash matches.
Oh, yeah. Because then it's like it's supposed to be. Like, they're just torturing the person, and it's great.
One thing about Sara, she loves heels. Especially really good heels.
I'm really picky with heels.
Who's the best heel you have ever seen?
Right now, I'd probably say Lance Archer.
Really?
Yes, and also when Drew McIntyre was a heel.
But what makes Lance Archer such an amazing heel, in your opinion?
Because he's just scary, but also he's not trying too hard to be it. I don't like when
he's just doing the bare minimum to win.
Yeah, but also he's doing it in a way that's almost like torturous. Like, he knows what he's doing. He's smart, and he knows how to take apart an opponent with doing the bare minimum, but also getting across that, hey, you shouldn't mess with me type of thing. And the way he doesn't... Yes, he has Jake the Snake as his manager, but he also he wouldn't have to have a manager. He could walk out and he'd be a scary dude.
Yeah.
And he just has to say a few words and he gets his point across.
And even in that match that we saw with him against Will Ospreay last summer, you were heartbroken that Will lost that match. Because you didn't know Lance Archer, but you were impressed by how scary this dude was.
Oh, yeah, he terrified me.
Yeah. And I think that's really good because Sara really enjoys New Japan, but she doesn't keep up with it religiously.
No.
I mean, I don't either. Just because there's a whole lot going on and there's only so much. Yeah. But when we do watch New Japan, we love it.
Oh, all the time.
Best pure wrestling in the world.
Definitely.
Speaking of New Japan, what makes the Japanese style of wrestling better than the American style, do you think?
I think it's because they don't. Okay. They care about the fans, but they don't. What comes across to me, this is my opinion, don't know if anyone else cares about it, is that their wrestling style is they're wrestling for themselves. The fans enjoy it, they enjoy it. Which they do, from what we can see. They boo at the heels, they cheer the faces, sometimes it's flipped because the heel's really good and you just want to cheer for them because they're really good. But their wrestling style is them. They don't care about pandering to the crowd. They don't do the silly little chant things. I think Will said it in a video, trying to hype up the crowd before they do a big...
Yeah,
I I like that.
Fun fact, your favorite wrestler, Seth Rollins, says that all the time.
I know he does. I know he does. And it annoys me. But I know why they do it. That's part of the American style.
Yeah.
That's an American thing. We're big, loud, boisterous people. The Japanese, in what I've seen, are not. So, but their wrestling style is they focus solely on the wrestling while still being able to tell a story without words a lot of the times. Like, there's very few words that are spoken that we can hear. And I think that's really cool that they're able to do that, tell the story with wrestling with so few words. That's, like, beautiful to me in that, like, area.
So, right now, what would you say is the best wrestling in the world overall in terms of match quality, entertainment value, storylines you can get behind?
Like, I would love to say New Japan, but I don't keep up with it, so I really can't say. Right now, Raw was really good Monday, though. But that's, like, that was a one-off thing that happened.
Yeah.
I would probably say AEW. It has religiously kept me in, like, its clutches of watching it and watching it, like, through.
And we've been watching
being
since the
invested
beginning.
in it. Yeah. So, like, I would say AEW. Just in my opinion, what I keep up with.
So you and I have really started falling off the wagon a little bit with WWE. That's what we used to always watch. What, in your opinion, would you say is the reason for your disinterest in WWE? And let me be clear, WWE, not pro wrestling, just WWE.
It hasn't been that good with its characters. WWE has this amazing plethora of talent that it can just pick out, and they could have someone that they could do amazing things with. But it seems like they're stuck on these people. And
which particular people?
Like the older people, like not like the
Brock Lesnar,
the legends,
Goldberg.
yeah. And which I don't mind. Like, it's fun. It's nostalgia to have them come back. But you have all this amazing talent that it could be great if you could just, like, pick them and put them into these matches and just do a little bit of work with them. But also, though, let them run with their characters. Like, let them have at least some control of it. Because, I don't know, I guess with what's going on now in the world, that how much WWE controls their wrestlers is coming across more now, with the fact that we know a lot of these things have been taped and, like, all of that stuff. Like, it's definitely coming across more that these wrestlers don't have as much control over their character as maybe they would in the indies. So, like, it's really coming across that way now, and I think that's what's turning me off, because in a normal WWE time, you really couldn't tell because they had constant storylines, they had all this stuff, because they relied so much on fans' responses. And now that they're not having that immediate response from the fans, you can kind of tell that, like, a few of them are like, ooh, there's supposed to be something there, and now I get to get to the next part of what I'm supposed to be saying, or get to the next move. So, like, for some it's hard, which I can understand completely. I probably don't think I could ever perform in front of a crowd of no one. Or maybe I could. I'd probably do a lot better. But, like, they don't have that anymore, and it comes across more than it does with AEW. Mm-hmm. Not to compare them a lot, but that's the two things that I know the most about.
So one of the hot topics, I guess, in the world of pro wrestling is women's involvement in pro wrestling outside of just looking good and being there. You are probably, to be honest, in the minority in that you're a female wrestling fan. And you're also probably more in the minority because you're not just a female WWE fan. You're a female wrestling fan who is very knowledgeable about it. You have a lot of passion for it. What do you think about what's been going on with women's pro wrestling lately?
I think lately it has taken a dip. And I don't know if it's because of COVID or what else it is, but it definitely has taken a dip. And it's kind of upsetting, but I will say, AEW, for a while I was getting frustrated that they really weren't having women's matches. And I get that there was travel concerns and like all of that was happening, but I was like, couldn't it just put one in? Just whoop, put it in. But
they did. They gave you the magician.
I can't. I have nothing against that.
Anna Jay.
I have nothing against her. She seems like she's probably a really great person. Her gimmick, I don't know if it's supposed to be is it supposed to be a magician?
I don't think so.
Every time I look at her and her like outfit, I think she's a magician. I don't know why, but every time I see it, I'm like, you're a magician, and I just want to go. I'm weird. But I will say, Wednesday night, that 4-way women's match on AEW was amazing.
And it was between Hikaru Shida,
Penelope,
Britt,
Alien,
Chris Statlander.
So like, and they gave each of the women a spot. Like, they each had highlighting moments. There was a lot of going on. There was a lot of cheering, a lot of booing, a lot of jeering. Just, it was a lot, but they also really let them wrestle. And AEW is actually pretty good at that. I fell in love with one of my favorite female wrestlers watching an AEW show.
Oh, Chelsea.
All
in.
It was still...
Yeah.
It was before they were AEW, but I still fell in love with her there because her character was so funny to me. And I was just... you could even... Like, that moment when she came out, I was hooked on watching her the entire time. And that usually doesn't happen for me.
But when it does, it does.
But back to women's wrestling. It still counted. They did really good with it, and I liked at the end when Shida won, and they kind of like, they had her look at everyone, and Britt was still doing the, what is her submission with when she puts the hand in the...
I don't remember. Like the claw?
I think it's kind of like the claw, but it's like around the back.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, she was doing that to Chris Statlander on the outside of the ring. Shida won, and then when Shida looked over, I didn't even see that Nyla was in the crowd, and I'm a person who loves Nyla. I will fight anyone who says anything else. I love Nyla.
Hey, fight anyone who says anything else about the validity of Nyla Rose being a wrestler, you mean?
Yes.
You can have your opinions on if someone's good or not.
Yeah.
But Nyla Rose is a very talented female wrestler.
Yes, she is. And I liked how they had her come out and she was just holding the belt on the heel side of the fans, and she was just holding the belt going, "That's mine." And then I liked when they had the interview backstage and she came back and she had the kendo stick that Shida had been looking for. And I thought that was cool because that was another little bit of storyline that really wasn't happening on TV. It was happening on social media with Shida looking for her kendo stick. And she's like, "I found something you're missing," and hit her with it. And it led to their match at Double or Nothing.
Double or Nothing.
Double or Nothing being a no disqualification match. Which I like when that happens. I don't like when any brand just goes, "Oh no, we're just going to be a regular match." They beat the crap out of each other in the back.
Or when WWE does what they sometimes do where they say, it's going to be a street fight match, but really there was no need for it to be a street fight. And I think for us, it kind of desensitized us to hearing any special match that wasn't like a ladder match. We were like, oh, it's no big deal. And then AEW comes out and has an incredible street fight.
That was fantastic.
That was such a great match. Because it was a street match.
They literally did not hold back. They did not give any Fs. They did not care, and it was beautiful.
They have made the most out of their special matches.
Oh, definitely. And I will say, I know some people are like, "Oh, it's just seeing them on TV." No, their matches come across as magical live and in person as they do on TV.
So that brings up my next question. What is your favorite live wrestling experience? And I know there's a tie for you.
No, there is.
So, to give you some background on Sarah's live wrestling, she's gone to a SmackDown house show, WWE Fastlane, and AEW Dynamite.
So the tie for me, obviously, it's a house show. It wins. No.
That was a lot of fun.
It was very entertaining. It was a lot of fun. Yes. But it does not compare to seeing AEW Dynamite and then being able to see Fastlane. And the reason why Fastlane is such up there with, I know I've been kind of crapping on WWE, but we got to see The Shield.
For the last time.
One of the last times. We were part of the crowd that literally revolted on WWE because we wanted Kofi so bad, and we got it changed. We were in the crowd when who was the match?
Shane McMahon turned on The Miz.
Shane McMahon turned on The Miz. That was insane because
we were in the crowd when Beth Phoenix went to help Natalya.
Yep. We were in the crowd when Kevin Owens, Daniel Bryan,
and Mustafa
Ali got the crowd back into the match. That was so cool.
We didn't think that was possible.
No. We were like, because we didn't want it to be possible either.
Yeah.
Honestly. But they got it back because it was just that great. Like, no, people probably thought, oh, that's WWE highlighting things. No. Those wrestlers literally got the crowd back into the match. Which was
we were all so pissed about Kofi.
So pissed.
And those three put on a hell of a match.
Yeah. And it truly, honestly got the crowd back in.
And it got us so pumped for the main event.
Oh, so pumped for the main event.
That was so much fun.
Oh, that was... Because that just, it holds a piece.
Because for us, The Shield is like the first storyline that we really latched on to.
Oh, yeah.
Together as wrestling fans. The first time we watched wrestling together was watching The Shield get back together over FaceTime.
Yep.
And then getting to see them as like a farewell.
Like, so faction cool. Was awesome. And then that kind of leads into Dynamite because we got to see Moxley as, like, Dean Ambrose as Moxley, which was so awesome. It was also awesome because he's in Ohio and he always gets a great...
He's from Cincinnati, so...
Yeah. So anytime he's in anywhere in Ohio, he gets a great reaction. So, like, but being there with that was awesome. And, like, it just had a really great, fun atmosphere that was really enjoyable. And we were lucky because we had we were given
free
seats.
Tickets, and we were sitting on the floor.
That'll still be one of my favorite things ever, though, about that.
Yeah.
We got free tickets. Free floor seat tickets. And it was awesome. And the other reason that holds a very special part is for what happened after the show, which we were so lucky.
We decided, so at the end of the show of Dynamite, Kenny Omega, the Bucks, and some other friends will come out. We'll usually do a speech, rile up the crowd, and we just wanted to make sure that we got back. We wanted to make sure that we got in our car. So we decided to leave just a little bit early. We walk out, and who's standing there but Sammy Guevara? And I'll put the picture up here. And Sammy Guevara couldn't have been nicer. You can see us in his vlog from then. Like, it's literally us meeting him. And it was the coolest moment. And all three of us were wearing the same shirt.
You can't see mine in the photo because it's cold outside because it's in Cleveland in January. It's cold. So my jacket's zipped up.
Yeah. But, yeah, so Dynamite was definitely for both of us so exciting.
Oh, yeah.
There was no boring part. We didn't know when it was the commercials.
Like, you had no idea. And it was almost like a healthy environment, too. Like, it was very uplifting, it was very fun, and, like, for that moment, like, we completely forgot about the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And I love when something does that. For me, that's an amazing thing, and I live for those moments.
Yeah. So my last question for you is, why should someone give pro wrestling a chance if they have been told their entire lives that it is stupid, it is fake, it is unintelligent, it is not worth your time? Why would you tell someone to watch pro wrestling? And then, what match would you tell them to watch? And remember, a match that you think someone just getting into wrestling would find as like a hook on.
Well, first of all, it is fake. I know it's fake. But they really do punch each other. And they really do flips. And they do a lot of stuff.
And they get hurt.
And they get hurt. And they land on the apron. And they bleed. And they break teeth. And they sprain things. They break things.
And their lives are never the same.
And their lives are never the same. I know that. I know that the storylines are scripted. I know who wins, who loses is scripted. I know that. But that's for the same reason why I know that a Fast and Furious movie is fake. And I love those a lot. I love action movies. But it's the same thing that I know if I pick up a Harry Potter book, I know they're not doing magic. I know those movies have no magic. Well, they have movie magic, but it's not actual magic. So, like, for me, the whole thing, it's fake. I'm like, I know. So that part, but I would say if you're looking for something that has a little bit of everything in it. It has action. It has drama. It has some very stupid drama sometimes. It has comedy. It has love. Occasionally you have some love storylines. And it has goofiness, craziness, and anything you could look for. It even has some horror sometimes. And what I would say, a match I would say to look at is Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi versus the Young Bucks. I would recommend that match as a first match to watch. Because there's so much storyline in that match. And there's really good wrestling in that match. And I think that's a pretty good match to like sink your teeth into. Or even the Kota Ibushi versus Will Ospreay match.
The one this year, or a little bit ago at...
They were in it. It was for something.
It was for something. It wasn't the Wrestle Kingdom match that you're thinking of. No. Okay.
It's the one where I think Will knocks Kota out.
Yeah.
I loved that match. And then I would definitely say for like, if it's a girl and they want to see a women's match, Becky and Charlotte is a pretty good one.
At Evolution?
At Evolution is a pretty good one to get into.
That match was incredible.
It was. And then I would say the
women's War Games match.
Oh, women's War Games match. This
past year at War Games.
Oh, that was peak. I also love Rhea Ripley. And then another women's match would be the one that I fell in love with Chelsea Green at All In.
So the All In Fatal 4-Way with, I want to say Madison Rayne, Britt Baker.
I didn't think Britt was in that.
Yeah. Madison Rayne, Britt Baker, Chelsea Green, and Tessa Blanchard.
Okay. Yeah, that one. I love that one. I really focused a lot in that match on Chelsea because she really just grabbed me, so I can't really... I remember Tessa was in it, and that was it.
So, overall, your love for pro wrestling is never going to end, right?
No, I literally have a Young Bucks patch on my jean jacket. So, it's never coming off because my dad would kill me.
So I think the big thing out of this interview that I want y'all to take in is that really anyone can fall in love with pro wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
It's so accessible. There's so much content available on YouTube. You can get the WWE Network. You can get independentwrestling.tv. You can illegally do it. I wouldn't recommend it, but I can't say I haven't done it. We poor.
Very poor.
But, yeah, thank you so much, Sarah, for joining me. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Too sweet. And have a great day.